Hey everybody, welcome back to the War Room. Today, we're going to be going through some quarterback power rankings for the 2026 season. Eli thought of them. I'm going to tell him if he's dumb or not. Stick around to the end. He might have some controversial takes towards the end of the list. You never know. But as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. And without further ado, let's get into it. Eli, what's your number one quarterback going into the
All
2026
right.
season?
The number one quarterback in the NFL, without a doubt, going into the 2026 season is going to be Josh Allen.
Okay, I agree. I think that's not crazy controversial. I think some people will say it is, like he shouldn't be there because he hasn't won anything in the playoffs. But if you just watch him play and look at it, like his stats and just how much talent he has, I don't think it's. I don't think you can put anyone else there at this point.
Yeah, not right now. Nope. I he's too good. He's too good. It doesn't matter what the results are at the end of the day. It matters about what he is doing uh before the end of the day.
Okay, I
Uh,
whatever that meant,
yeah.
but I think I understand a little bit. I think him not winning in the playoffs may partially be due to team success and not all because of him because his playoff performances has have been really good unlike
I
some
mean
other
that
quarterback
Broncos game was not very great. They shouldn't
that
have
yeah,
lost.
but the
But
other ones
yeah,
that was
I
like the
mean,
only one of the only ones I can remember where he did not have a great showing in the playoffs unlike other
yeah,
quarterbacks that we'll get to later on in this list. But
yeah. Actually, we might get to one of those quarterbacks right now. I have Lamar Jackson coming in at two.
okay, I think I'm already going to disagree with you here a little bit.
Disagree. All right.
I see your thought process a little bit here, just with all the talent and the running ability, but I feel his playoff success is more like his lack of playoff success is more due to him not performing as much in the playoffs. And he's obviously a great quarterback, and most NFL teams would take him, but I think there's another guy that I would slot above him for right now at this point in
You
time,
think so?
and that would be the Matthew Stafford, the reigning
Okay.
MVP.
Yeah, I could see that. I have him at three.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
actually, so we're very close there. I would like to challenge you. I don't think that Lamar Jackson's playoff losses have been solely or even mostly
Okay.
because of him. I used to think that
Okay.
until I watched a video of some child telling me that I was wrong, basically. If you go back and look at it, yes,
Wait,
he
was it
is.
that one like reporter kid like with the glasses?
Yeah,
He's like a
yeah, dude,
Ravens fan.
that dude. He's a Ravens fan. uh, so I mean, his first playoff loss, it was probably on him, but like you can give a quarterback, one or two. Um, but the last couple, the Zay Flowers fumble was a big part, and the Mark Andrews fumble and the Mark Andrews drop against the Bills. That was also a huge part of that game, as well as them deciding to only run the ball like 8 times when they had the best rushing offense in the league that year. Like, that was a decision that I don't quite understand. I don't think
Yep.
anybody understands it. Part of it is Lamar Jackson didn't perform as well as he does in the regular season, but I mean, if your coach is only going to run the ball 8 times with the best rushing offense, I mean, that's got to go. Part of the blame's got to go there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of it in this way. If I was playing this year, who would I rather have starting on my team, Matthew Stafford or Lamar Jackson?
I personally believe I would rather have Lamar Jackson because uh I again just the talent, the ability he has. I think much more than Stafford does. Your offense is going to be kind of with Stafford. You have to have a lot of things for it to go right. He's a pocket guy. You gotta make sure he's got a clean pocket so he can throw the ball. You gotta have some good receivers to catch the ball. Whereas Lamar, he can make something out of nothing. So it's like, do you want a guy that's been there before and he's done it before, or do you want a guy that can get people that haven't done that before there?
Okay.
You know,
I would
I'd say
just
one is a ceiling raiser and one is a floor raiser for
I
sure.
would say
And I think,
Stafford is just the pure better pure quarterback. Like if you're having somebody throw the ball to your receivers, you want Stafford, not Lamar. But
yeah,
Lamar's game is more than just a straight up quarterback. So if you're looking at it in that sense, because he's more of a dynamic weapon, I think I can get on board with Lamar too. Just and I think my reasoning, my thought process there was Matthew Stafford was MVP last year, but he is 1 year older. So I'm gonna knock him just a little bit behind Lamar, just because he's a year older. So I think we're gonna go with Lamar too,
good, good.
and then that means
And that means Stafford is my number three quarterback. Oh, he's right there.
bang. Okay.
Now, at my number four, if you're ready to move on from Stafford, we kind of had the
Yeah.
discussion. I don't know if you've got anything else to say.
I don't have a whole lot more to say about Stafford. I just think maybe you were discounting his like making something out of nothing ability. Like
Yeah,
he can kind of do
he,
that
he
with his
can.
arm.
He
And like
can,
he's not
yes.
completely immobile. He is old, but like he's not just completely unable to play football if not everything goes right. So just wanted to say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He's still obviously so talented. He's number three. He's better than 29 guys that are going to be starting. So
Yeah.
I just think Lamar is just slightly better. And
Okay.
I don't know if that means in the playoffs or not, but I think going into the season, yes, right now I would take Lamar as my quarterback if I
Okay.
had to choose.
Okay. All right. Who do you have
And
at your
now I've
four?
I've got number four. I have Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine with me.
You think that's all right? Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know if you're gonna have a standoff there, but
Um.
I mean, coming off the ACL injury, he a lot of times is higher, but just going into the year, I don't think you can have him in the top two or even three. And I debated putting him at five.
I
Uh,
mean, cause like before last year, you're putting him at one. Like you can't
mhm,
not put him at one. So I think knocking him down 3 spots because the injury and stuff like that, and he hasn't been performing up to where he was at closer to the beginning of his career. So I think knocking him 3 spots is fair. And other guys on this list have bigger question than Mahomes, in my opinion. I was thinking about other guys that could go at four. Honestly, kind of forgot about Patrick Mahomes just because he's been hurt, obviously. But I like him at four. I think it makes sense for sure.
yeah. All right. So we agree on that one. Going on to number five, I've got Joe Burrow.
Okay, I think that's who I was between at four.
Yeah, me too. I was couldn't decide. I think all five of those guys, if you no matter who you have, if you're going into this season, you would rather have them than anyone else in the league right now.
Yep.
Um, that's not regarding age or like any team situation, but like if you're in a winning position, you'd want one of those guys on your team.
And if somebody would comment on this video, which you know, maybe,
Yeah,
uh, I think their
that's our
comment
only hope.
their comment would be, but he's always injured, and he's all he did was go to the Super Bowl that 1 year and it's done nothing, and that's just completely untrue. Like was it 1 or 2? It was 2 years ago where he was healthy. He had the best numbers in the league. Just his team was so bad around him, he missed the playoffs, so he didn't win MVP. And whenever he's on the field, he's good. He does struggle towards the beginning of the season, but his insane like end of seasons, middle of seasons just makes up for that in a big way. And I think I'd rather have Joe Burrow than a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree. We had this talk at the Mexican restaurant earlier. Um, and unfortunately we weren't recording because I think that would have been a very nice video to
Yeah,
do.
I
But
agree.
um, yeah, injury proneness is just people look at that way too much nowadays, and just because like you said, the gambler's fallacy, just because a guy is hurt often doesn't mean he's going to be hurt again. And I think just about any team in the NFL would take Joe Burrow right now, and it wouldn't matter if they have to give up 3 first round picks, they would do it in a heartbeat for Joe Burrow.
I th-
And there's not many guys that would do that for.
I think Burrow's struggles are more of an indictment on the Bengals franchise than Burrow himself. I think the Bengals are arguably one of the worst. You, I don't think you can say it's the worst because franchises like the Browns and the Jets exist, but the Bengals might just be right there with them in some of the worst franchises in the NFL's history. They've just
Yeah, they,
always not been great at roster building. They don't spend money. They're conservative to a fault, and I honestly they get some talent, but then they don't really do much with it, and it's kind of just a cesspool that you don't really want to be a part of if you're a player coming out of college. So that's how I feel about the Bengals. I really like
yeah,
Burrow, but not the Bengals, because
it's like, yeah, it's the Bengals were always a joke when I was growing up. Just on Madden, they were always low rated, even when they had Dalton and AJ Green, and they were good. The Bengals were still a joke, and it's not the team anybody thinks like I want to go play for the Bengals. Like nobody says that. They're not saying that. It's like you could get drafted to the Jets. That's worse. You could get drafted to the Dolphins. You could get drafted to the Browns. But I think very close to there is the Bengals. I think you're right on that.
yeah, I just Burrow has saved them these past however many years from being thought of as one of those worst franchises. And they've performed like some of the worst franchises. They just have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to back them up, and that's about it. So I like Joe Burrow a lot. He's my guy. People say I
Yeah.
look like him, but that's beside the point. What's your number six? We'll move on.
All right. All right. Number 6 is the MVP runner-up, Drake May.
Okay. Um, can I put a hold on that?
Yeah. Yeah. What's that mean? What
So
we're going to 7, or we're saying maybe not?
I don't I don't know yet.
Okay.
Um, I think there's a possibility I would like him at 6, but there's other quarterbacks that I haven't thought about just yet that possibly could go ahead of him. So we're gonna stick him at 6, and if we come to a guy that I think might be ahead of him, we'll put him there. But for
Okay.
now, Drake May is at 6. I am a little wary of him this next year just because schedule reasons. I mean, it was only 1 year of really good football, runner up MVP football. So we'll see how that goes in the next couple of years if he continues on this level. But I'd say 6
Yeah.
is fair for now.
Yeah. I mean, putting a guy who's coming out of his sophomore year in the top 6 is always going to be worrisome for some people just because it's you have 2 years at most of data to look at, and you know the easy schedule is a big factor. We'll see how he plays this year. I'm just going into this year, I don't see how you can rank a guy who was second in MVP and led the MVP race for quite a while this year. Uh, I don't see how you could put him outside of the top 10, and really I don't see how you could put him outside of the top like 6 to 8
Yeah, for
ish.
sure. He was going to be on this list no matter what. I just wasn't sure where to place him yet. Because there's also the question of Jaden Daniels, who arguably had one of the best rookie seasons. He wasn't in the second MVP in the MVP race like Drake May was, but I mean, I don't think there's people nowadays aren't even putting Jaden Daniels in the top 10 anymore, and they were after his rookie season. So it just scares me a little bit putting Drake May up there, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. When we
Yeah,
move a little farther in this list.
yeah. We this guy could 100% be out of the list by the start of next year. I could see it 100%. But moving on to number 7, I've got a guy that has done nothing ever, but he's dating a hot woman, and his name is Justin Herbert for the Chargers. I've got him at 7.
I have a love-hate relationship with this man. I really like watching him play, and he he's just insanely talented as like a lot of these guys on this list. He just hasn't had the like he's more talented than guys on this list. Like just from raw ability, I I mean, he's probably has more raw ability than Drake May, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. He just doesn't perform like them. So that's where his problem is, and that's a huge problem if you have the talent but you're not performing up to that level. But that level that he doesn't perform up to is really hard to meet, and it's mainly in the playoffs where he doesn't reach that level. So I think 7 is fine. I'm a little biased because I do like him.
I like him a lot as well, and there's times that I hate him because, that Jacksonville performance in the playoffs was that last year. That was horrendous. You can't go
That
up 27
that
and then
was
lose.
I don't think that was last year.
It was my 2 years ago. It was whenever it was. That's like you can't do that.
Yeah, that was awful.
Uh Especially not to like the Jaguars, and especially that Jaguars. I'm not talking about the new Jaguars. That
Yeah.
was Trevor Lawrence before he was good, supposed to be.
Yeah, that
And
was without Liam Cohen, right?
yeah, it was Doug Peterson, I think, was
Yeah.
the coach at that point. Justin Herbert is good. His rookie season was good. It was great rookie season. And I do feel like last year is a little bit like taken out of his control because his offensive line was so banged up. But I'm really excited to see, what him and John Harbaugh are capable of doing, especially
Yeah.
with Mike McDaniel at the offensive coordinator position. I think this could be the breakout year for the Chargers, and I do think there's a good possibility they win the AFC West this year.
I agree. But it is Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh's
Oh,
brother.
yeah, he's the Giants. Sorry,
Yeah.
two J's.
But I do agree with you. I'm pretty high on the Chargers this year. A lot because of Mike McDaniel. I'm a big fan of Hampton. I think I don't think he's a great running back. I mean, he's for sure very good. I don't think he's like elite at this point, but I think Mike McDaniel can produce make him produce possibly to that level of elite running backs. Um, just from what he's done with Achan and Mostert in the past and stuff like that. Because I mean, Mostert wasn't an elite running back, but he produced like crazy with Mike McDaniel. So I think with that little help, little push from the running game, hopefully having a healthy offensive line, I think he's set up to flourish this year. And that being said, if he doesn't, I think at this point you got to drop him pretty far if he does not perform this year. I think he's one of the quarterbacks with the most pressure going into this year probably on this list, in my opinion, has the most pressure.
Yeah, I mean he's on a hot seat. Um, as much of a I mean he's got pressure. He's got as much pressure as you can have without being on a hot seat. I think. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any way the Chargers are going to get rid of him, um, or test out any kind of option or trade him or anything, just because he's Justin Herbert. But I mean, if he doesn't do something soon, the everything is going to turn on him, and even if he is so good that he's better than what the consensus is on him, I think the consensus is going to be super low on him if he doesn't do something this year.
Yeah, I pressure I mean is just how the media will look at him if he does not perform. By no means do I think if underperforms are the Chargers getting rid of him after this year. But if you look at the other guys on the list, I mean you got four MVPs up there at the top. I have all won the MVP. Joe Burrow made it to a Super Bowl. Drake May made it to a Super Bowl and was second in MVP. Joe Burrow has had crazy seasons. And then you get to Justin Herbert, who has all this talent, and you're like, why hasn't he produced like all these other guys? And I think he can. That's why we have him at 7, but we're going to really need to see it this year.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right. Going to 8.
Yep.
All right. At number 8, I kind of couldn't decide between the two guys. I picked the guy that lost the game in the playoffs this year, but I'm going with my guy Jordan Love at number 8.
Okay. I was going to get to this one, and I have my thoughts about him. I think he's better than a lot of people think. I there there's a world where you can put him above Justin Herbert, but I mean if you think about it, they both not had the same accolades as any of the other people in this list or achievements, and I think Herbert has more talent. So in that case, I think he gets the edge because of that, just because of his physical ability. But I think Jordan Love is right there with him. And if he outperforms Herbert this year, I'd happily and easily put him above Herbert. But for now, I like where he is.
Yep. I mean, he was top 3 in MVP rankings like going into week 15 against the Broncos. Um, and at that point it was a good season, and he gets a concussion the next week, misses the rest of the season. Um, I think a lot of people will look back at that Bears game and they'll look at the last quarter and they'll be like, "This guy, he can't do anything." That was a complete collapse of the entire team. That was not Jordan Love. If you go back and look at that game, like he had a great game. He had an amazing game. The kicker, Brandon McManus, uh, broke my heart, and I think a lot of people are going to put just like any other quarterback, they're going to put the downfall of the team solely on the quarterback. And uh, I might be biased on that, but I think especially with Jordan Love in that game, particularly, you can't really do that.
Yeah. When I when I think about quarterbacks, it's hard to say that the team's success doesn't matter, but to a certain extent it doesn't, but also to another extent it does. So it gets to a point if you just can't win, I think that's an indictment on you. But one, if you're looking at a smaller sample size like the Bears game, I don't think you can say that's on the quarterback. But if there's a continual pattern of the quarterback losing in those situations, I don't think you can just say, oh, well, his team failed him. I mean, at some point, you're going to say, well, the quarterback didn't do enough to will his team to that win. So we're to this point in
Yeah.
the list where guys are really good, but they have a question and they have something to prove going into this year. So I like it.
Yep. All right. Now at number, are we ready to go to number nine?
I am.
Okay. All right, number nine, I've got another guy that might be premature. Um, we got 58% completion percentage himself, Caleb
Oh,
Williams,
no.
at number
No,
nine.
stop. No. Stop. I'm not putting him at 9.
Not nine?
No,
Ah,
I watched his games last year and he's bad. He's not a good quarterback. He's just good at the end of games. And he has Ben Johnson as a coach. He was awful before Ben Johnson got there. He has a lot of talent, but he has not done anything to impress me with it yet. So,
I see your point. I watched quite a bit of him, and I would be frustrated if I was a Bears fan if it weren't for the wins because, he's non-existent for three quarters a lot of games, but I do think that the fourth quarter is a big part of the game, and he shows up there. And I don't know why
I
it's only
guess.
there.
I mean, did he show up there in his other seasons? Or was it just he
I
showed up
mean,
this season? Like,
yeah.
is he
I
really the
mean,
Iceman if
towards the
he's
end of
only
last season,
Patrick
toward,
Mahomes is the
towards
Iceman, bruh.
yeah,
Don't give I don't
the Iceman has been like that was Matty Ice that was his nickname first, man. It's not Caleb's,
yeah,
but
how are you gonna do it for 1 year and for a few games and then yeah you're clutch. I want to see it for some years to come before you get crowned that. Patrick
well,
Mahomes and Tom Brady are the Icemen.
hey, man, I would be fine moving him down because he's a Bears player, and I put him there just because I see what he did in the fourth quarter. But if you're not willing to ignore the other three, then we can move him down the list.
When I look at quarterbacks, they gotta have talent, they gotta have production, and they gotta have consistency. Caleb Williams only has two of those. I would say he does not have the consistency yet. If he's consistent this year, by all means, we can move him up to 7. If he's, I don't care, maybe even 6. But he just got to show me that he can be a serviceable quarterback consistently. I'm not saying he can't have bad games or bad quarters, but he's just consistently had bad quarters. So he's just up and down throughout the season. At a certain point, a quarterback needs to be more of a steady ocean in the sea of I don't know where I lost my my analogy. But you get what I'm
He's got to
saying.
have a steady flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I no, I agree. I The big thing with him is the completion percentage was like in the 50s. That's bad. That's really bad. That's like they're gonna ask you a question about that on StatPad in a few years. Bad. Like you're that's not a good season at all. I know when Jordan Love started his first year that he started, the first three games, I think his completion percentage was about 50%, and a lot of people still harp on him for that. But since then, it's been quite a bit better. Like he's in between 60 and 70, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about that many passes, uh, like a 5% swing is a ton, and a 10% swing obviously is even bigger. Um, Caleb Williams is the guy that people want to pretend Jordan Love is, except he plays like a clutch guy in the fourth quarter, and he has Ben Johnson as his coach right now.
I think we can do a video on it. We can do a little deep dive into Caleb Williams. We can look at some stuff in a separate video. That sounds like fun. But who
Yeah,
who is your number 10? See if we can put him at 9.
I have Trevor Lawrence at 10.
Okay. I don't want to say no, but I have some other options.
Okay.
I think Dak should get a nod. I think he should be an honorable mention here or pushed up.
I had Dak at 10 and then I crossed him out for Trevor Lawrence, so he is definitely right up there.
I think Brock Purdy should get a nod. I think
Over Lawrence? Okay.
I didn't say
Okay.
for sure. I'm just giving you. I'm laying out
Okay,
some
yeah, yeah,
options
yeah.
here. I think Jaden Daniels should be in the conversation. I don't know if we can put him at 10, but I think he should be in the conversation here. Um, and I think that's where my list ends as of now. I was possibly thinking about Jared Goff or Bo Nix or Sam Darnold or Jalen Hurts, but I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah. So for me, I had Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence. I was really debating Jaden Daniels and a little bit Bo Nix, but like way less Bo Nix and less Jared Goff. So I'd say the three that I would be probably willing to put at 9 or 10 is Lawrence, Prescott, and Daniels
Okay,
in some kind of order. So you just got to figure that out.
give me give me your case for Lawrence because I'm not totally sold on him.
Okay, hold. I gotta pull up the stats real quick
Okay,
because I feel like nobody realizes how good of a year he had um, last year. So Trevor Lawrence, he had a 4,000 yard season. He was one of only six players last year to have a 4,000 yard season. He had 29 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and he led the Jaguars to a 14-3 record, as well as winning a playoff game and almost beating the Bills. Um, with a first year head coach. I think I think that's a pretty good that's a pretty good case for him. Um and besides that, I mean his completion percentage wasn't the greatest, but that's like my only thing that I have on him. There's some games that he didn't play the best, but he played other games really, really good. And I feel like when it mattered most, he was really good. Um, so it's like, I don't know. I really like the guy. And I think going into this year, people are not going to rate him this high just because of his previous years, but solely based on last year and going into this year and seeing what he did in the postseason and in the regular season, I think he could be in the top 10.
so you think he's a riser, basically? You think he's just gonna continue getting better, like he's a late
Yeah.
bloomer, basically? Okay.
Yes.
I like Dak because he consistently produces good to great offenses. I don't remember a time when Dak was quarterback of the Cowboys, correct me if I'm wrong, had a lackluster offense.
Yeah, no. I mean, other th he when he was hurt,
Yeah,
they weren't the
and I
greatest.
don't think you
But
can really count that.
yeah,
So when
he
you
did have more yards, more touchdowns, and less interceptions than Trevor Lawrence
okay,
last year. I
so
just wasn't going to mention that.
yeah, so Dak, his intangibles are some of the best. I feel like with he's he's mature and he's a great leader. Um, for what he does in Dallas. I mean, because Dallas is like a high pressure franchise and big organization to be a part of and to kind of get like distracted by all those things. But I think Dak has done an amazing job of keeping the thing, which is football. And I think that's helped him become like he just is a picture of consistency that I'm kind of looking for Caleb Williams just to replicate to a degree. So, I mean, Dak has been in MVP voting multiple years of his careers. I think I don't know if he's actually gotten that many votes, but I always remember conversations of like, oh, Dak could push for MVP this year or whatever. So in that case, I like him at 9.
I could see it. Like I said, I had Prescott at 10 and I crossed his name out to put Lawrence.
Okay.
So I I'm good with Prescott at 9
Okay.
if that's also what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking, and then I think we can go with Trevor Lawrence at 10. I don't think we can put Caleb there. I don't think Bo Nix is
I
better than
think
him. I don't think you
Jared
can.
Goff is better than I think he is, but I don't think he's 10.
Yeah, Jared Goff is what you were describing Stafford earlier as. He is the quarterback that everything has to go right for him to be great. And when everything is right, he's really, 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 really good. But if his offensive line is out of whack, or he doesn't necessarily have the weapons around him, he struggles. And that could be just because he can't move as good as everyone else, or he just needs to rely on some safety nets. And when he has those safety nets, he makes great decisions. He's really accurate with the football. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes, but when he has to cover up other people's mistakes, I think that's where he struggles. And I don't think that's enough. I think Trevor Lawrence can cover up some mistakes of other players, and that's why Trevor Lawrence should be at 10.
Yep. And I mean, to be a top 10 quarterback, I think you need to be able to play in an open stadium when it's windy and when it's cold and when it's raining. And I think Jared Goff has kind of proved that he can't do that. I don't have the stats on me, but I know that was a big thing last year with him. I remember. And I don't know if Trevor Lawrence can, but I'm sure he can do better than Jared Goff because if I'm remembering right, those stats were pretty bad.
And I did forget about Brock Purdy a little bit, but I don't think he can go at 10 above Trevor Lawrence. I do like
He's
Brock Purdy a lot. He's a little underrated in my opinion. Um,
yeah,
he reminds me of Jared Goff a little bit, just because he does have weapons. I mean, I guess he has Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan, but he can move better than Goff. He can make up for some people's mistakes, but I think he does rely on McCaffrey a little bit. I really do like him though. I think he is underrated. I would put him in that next group of quarterbacks after the top 10 for sure. So,
yeah. Well, I think the issue with Purdy.
hello?
My brother just walked in. Uh, I hold on. I think the issue with Purdy is not an issue, but he made he was Mr. Irrelevant. He comes in and he starts and he beats Tom Brady and he does all this stuff. He's so cool. And then people start probably overrating him at that point, and it got so bad that uh everybody was just like it was like you wanted to like the guy because he's Mr. Irrelevant and you want to put him as high as possible because he looks really good on that team and then he makes the Super Bowl. I think right after the Super Bowl was really like everybody's like I don't know. Everybody seems to be ranking this guy super high. And at this point, I agree with you. I think that the hate on him is more than it should be, and he is at this point a little bit underrated. But I think there was a point where he was very overrated, and that's the reason why people rate him so low today.
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that for sure. I think he's always just going to struggle to be placed properly, just honestly because of where he was drafted and then who he was drafted to. So I'm happy with it. I like it.
I'm happy
I don't
too.
see any mistakes, and if you find any mistakes, comment them, and we'll tell you that you're wrong. So thank you all for watching. Do you have anything else?
Leave a like, leave a
Subscribe.
comment,
Thank you
subscribe.
for our fan for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Rest in peace, my granny, she got hit by a bazooka. Yeah, I think about it every time I hit the hookah. Kaboom.